Right, and I'm back. So what we're going to do now is we've got some Evil Sun Scarlet, and we're going to do an all over coat of this on the Marine's armour. Again, I want to thin it down quite a bit, not so it's like a shade or a glaze or anything, but you should always thin your paints down a little bit anyway. Okay, and Evil Sun Scarlet is quite a thin paint anyway, so you don't need to necessarily water it down massively. You should always water your paints down a little bit. Right, so I'm going to start with the sergeant and work my way across the squad. So yeah, I completed 5 Death Company yesterday. The 5 of the guys that are up here. The 6th one is the model to remind me where I put colours and stuff. I always tend to do this when I'm painting squads in bits. I paint 5 of them and then I'll leave one of the guys out so I can paint the next 5 the same way. And yeah, I find that works for me. The Death Company were quite an easy paint job to do. It's mostly black with details, so it didn't take me very long at all. I've got a feeling this guy's going to take me a bit longer than normal because he's got a lot more detail than your average Space Marine does. So yeah, we'll see. But yes, man, you're on TV again tonight, so I'll probably be painting while watching that, or I'll be building models while watching that. I've tried to do it so that I have like building sessions while I'm watching football. I'll probably do the same tonight. I did build 3 different dreadnoughts over the weekend. I built the body for my Leviathan. I built the whole of my Contemptor. And I built my Redeemer Dreadnought for my 40k Blood Angels, or Redemptor Dreadnought. Probably I'm not going to get used anytime soon because it's not exactly the best weather to spray paint in. It's getting a little bit cold now. We'll see. I would like to get the Leviathan painted. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Maybe we might get a nice day sometime in the next couple of weeks. Tomorrow or Friday would be good. But who knows? We'll see. Okay, so that's the Sergeant base coated, or first layered. Sorry. Just going to work my way across this Devastator squad as well. Now, with Christmas being a Tuesday this year, I may have a week off from making videos. Because I'm not going to do one Christmas Day. Strictly speaking, I'm not recording this on a Tuesday, I'm recording it on a Wednesday, but I've got a feeling I might be a bit busy at Christmas, so yeah, we'll have to play it by ear. But we'll see how it goes. Like before I was saying, I was catching up on YouTubers that I subscribed to and haven't watched much of in the past few months. One of the guys that I was following quite a lot, he does a video series called Space Marine Sundays. The guy's name's called Spud8. The Wargamer Viking, I believe his YouTube is. And he hadn't done a video for quite a while. He was getting himself in shape and all dues to the guy. That's something I'm hoping to do next year, but I've probably said that for the past 15 years, but anyway. And he made his first Space Marine Sunday for probably about 8 or 9 months at the weekend, which is, it's always quite cool to watch. So I watched that as well. Mini Wargaming are doing their D&D coverage now. As much as I like the idea of a roleplay game, D&D doesn't really spike my interest because I've no idea how to play it. If I was going to do a roleplay game, it would be set in 40k or set in a set in a world that I know the history for. So yeah, probably 40k or fantasy, Warhammer Fantasy. But D&D, it looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It's just, like I said, I don't know enough of the background history. By all accounts, you make it up yourself anyway. But I've no idea how it works. So having something familiar like 40k would be a lot easier for me. So apparently there's a fantasy Age of Sigmar roleplay game coming out sometime next year from Games Workshop, which will probably be cool. Whether I get to play it or not, I don't know. It just depend on things at the time. I mean, things at the club, generally speaking, people show a lot of interest in to start with, and it drops off quite quick. Because people don't want to be tied down to doing one thing all the time. That's what, like things with my Blood Bowl League that I ran. It was good because it was kind of open. You weren't told you had to play Blood Bowl every week for 8 weeks or whatever like that. It was quite a... It was almost like like pickup games. There was no pressure on everyone to play all the time. People could play other things, which was cool. And I really enjoyed it. I don't know how the next Blood Bowl League is going to run, or if it's going to run. I would like it to, but who knows. But because yeah, it's trying to get people to do something continuously for a long period of time just doesn't work. So having it varied and so you can mix it up a bit and not play the same thing week in, week out is the best way to go, I think, when you're trying to organise like a league or a campaign or something like that. I mean, this is me speaking from probably like 4 years experience now of running leagues and campaigns and stuff. Don't push people into doing it. So this is Blood Angel number 3 of the Devastators. Yeah, number 3. I've got 2 more after this. I think I need some more paint though. And I've got to do their backpacks as well. This is part of why I think this colour scheme works so well. It's a lot of it is just don't have to be particularly neat. Especially like the first 2 layers are Mephiston Red, Evil Sun Scarlet, and not Agrax, because I actually, like I said, I screwed that up, but there you go. And yeah, they're just all over layers. They're not. You don't need to be very careful with it, so I think it works really well. Fair enough, the other layers are a bit more complicated, but even though there's still not a lot to do, if you know what I mean. The recessed shading you've got to be careful with, but then you tidy it up afterwards with Evil Sun Scarlet. Then you dry brush the edge highlight, with Fire Dragon Blight, and then you all over glaze with Bloodletter. The Bloodletter really brings the colour together. The colours, sorry. So yeah, it's fairly simple. I wish I had started painting Blood Angels like this years ago, as I carried on painting with the old paints, and funnily enough, this actually looks a lot like painting the same way as the old paints, so this is why I quite like it. So some of my Blood Angels won't be massively different colours to the rest of them, so it's all good. And at some point I'm going to start collecting Blood Angels for 30k as well, so I'll have even more Red Space Marines to paint. Blood Angels are my chapter. They always have been, they always will be. So they've never been particularly strong. Some people would argue that at the moment, because they probably have one of the strongest characters in the game, which you can make using relics and stuff, but I refuse to do it. Slamginius, people call him, or whatever he's named, Captain Slam, and blah blah blah. I won't build that model. I refuse. So yeah, it's chapter approved coming out this weekend, I believe. I probably won't get my copy this week. It will be in Games Workshop at the weekend, but I would assume it's going to sell out pretty quick. So I'll have to order mine. I'm playing a 1500 point game on Monday next week against a guy who's kind of learning the hobby still. And having seen what I've seen from chapter approved, the points cost of most of my Blood Angel stuff is dropping, so should be able to fit more in the army. Which means I've got to paint more though, but that's fine. I don't have to paint more, I've got loads, I've got quite a lot of an army painted as it is. Probably got about 4,000 points of Blood Angels painted. Maybe. Mostly infantry though, I've got very few vehicles actually finished. I think I've got 3 Dreadnoughts, a Predator, a Whirlwind and a Razorback of all my tanks done. All my vehicles done, sorry. Got a lot to paint. But that's okay, I plan to be here for a while, so saves me spending money on new stuff. So one thing I am planning, I'm going to try to do, if I can figure out how to actually make it work, is I want to try. It's like everyone else seems to be trying out live streaming, and I'm like, well, I might as well give it a go. So if I can get my head around how it works, on New Year's Eve I'm going to live stream me painting a Land Raider. Yeah. I had the idea of trying to get other people on to do like a sit and paint. People like I don't really do anything for New Year. It's not something I'm bothered about. I'm past the age where I've got to be out drunk on New Year's Eve every year and that kind of thing. Although I know some people like that, but I'm not a huge drinker. I'll have the odd one or two. I'll have the odd one or two ciders on New Year's Eve, but I find one or two ciders actually helps me push and get more painting done. So yeah. Right, so that's the Devastator Marines done. I'm going to jump on their backpacks now. I should have enough paint here just to do these backpacks. But yeah, I'm going to try and live stream me painting a Land Raider. I know I can do it onto Instagram using my iPad, but what I want to do is hook up my camera to my laptop and live stream it through my camera, because my camera is much better. Is a much better camera than my iPad. So yeah, I think I might need a HDMI cable for it, which I've got. I think my laptop has HDMI slot. I will have to check. I've just got to hope that my internet connection stays good. So our internet connection of late has been a bit rubbish. Sorry, it's been a lot rubbish. That's okay. Again, like I said, this bit of the painting is quite easy because it's just an all over brush. As long as you don't clog up the detail, that's what you don't want to do. Just make sure you get it all over the models. So that's them 3 done. Get the other 3. And I'm going to be painting the tanks the same way. So in theory, they should paint fairly quickly. I mean, I'm going to get sprayed Mephiston red because I know at least 2 of my Land Raiders are already sprayed red. I think they are anyway. They're going to get an all over cover of Mephiston red, all over layer of Evil Sun Scarlet. Then I'm going to recess shade. I'm going to bring the Evil Sun Scarlet back up. Then I'm going to dry brush rather than edge highlight, because I dry brush tanks rather than edge highlight, because it's edge highlighting can be a bit annoying when your tank's that big. And then it will be all over glaze of blood glitter to bring all the. In fact, I may need to buy some more pots of blood glitter, but I'll look after I've finished recording this, see how much I've got. I may have a spare pot, so in which case I probably won't need any more. Right, and that's all the shoulder pack, all the backpacks done. Okay, so I've got about 20 minutes left of my video. I'm going to do some recess shading on the Marines. Once I've cleaned my palette, of course. I think now I'm just going to concentrate for the last 20 minutes, concentrate on that Sergeant. Because like I said, the Devastators are not that important. The Sergeant I want to get painted for next Monday. So, yeah. Now we've got Agrax. But, I mean, you look at how quickly to get them to that stage was. It didn't take too long. A bit of water, just enough to dampen the brush a little bit. Just fill up this palette. Palette well, I think it's called. I actually remembered over the weekend to clean my brushes. I was having a bit of a couldn't be bothered to do anything kind of day, So I just sat here and cleaned my brushes for about an hour. One or two of my brushes are on their way out, like this one here, my applied paint to palette brush. It's probably going to need replacing, but that's not too big a deal. I'll just get any old big brush, as long as the bristles don't fall out on it. So all I'm doing with this Agrax is I'm applying it to like the recesses of the armour. Starting round the feet. The way I normally do it is I start with the feet, I work my way up the legs, and I work my way down the other leg. It's just my way that I've always painted Space Marines, is legs first, but everyone's each to their own. Like I said, this guy's got a lot more detail on him than my other Space Marines, so it may take a bit longer than normal. Like, he's got a lot of purity seals on him. He's got wreaths on his legs, that kind of thing. But it's not. You don't need to be too neat with this. Because, like I said, I'm going to tidy up with Evil Sun Scarlet again later. His knee pad, it's got like a stripe down it, which is going to be not a squad marking, it's going to be an honour marking. Because this is why I wanted this guy as my first sergeant rather than the other sergeant model, because he's more detailed. Generally speaking, in the Space Marine hierarchy, although they've changed it now because they've got lieutenants, but it always used to be that the first sergeant was like the second in command of a company. Like I said, they've changed it now because you've got lieutenants in the companies, but I still want my first sergeant to look a bit more fancy than my other sergeants. So but even my the fluff for my own captain, who excuse me, his name is Guy Malichev. It was basically he's the guy that took over the third company when Captain Tycho died, and that's all in Blood Angels fluff. It's in the 40k Codex, the last edition, and they totally changed it now. So Guy Malichev, I have no idea what happened to him. So it's some random other name now, but that's okay. The storyline's moved on, so I'd expect people would die, so it was fine. Even considered making a new captain model, but to be honest, I've got enough Space Marine captains, I don't need any more. Right, so that's his legs done. I'm going to work up his back. And then round to the front armour. Now, the one thing I've noticed that I've done with my Blood Angels is some of them have got black eagles on their chest plates and some have got white. I've done this purely because I got sick of painting so much white, and because it's in between squads, like whole squads have got the same chest colours. I haven't mixed and matched them between squads, so it shouldn't matter too much. it will just make them stand out a little bit from each other. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that having been done. So up onto his power fist now. Now most of his power fist is going to be painted black. I think. Yeah, it is. With my other Space Marine Sergeants, some of them have black power fists, some of them don't. It just depends on how the mood takes me at the time. This guy's going to have a black power fist. Just painting the doing the colouring on the shoulders. That doesn't really need to do that, but just to make sure I don't miss bits, to be honest. Round onto the bolter arm. He's got a very stylised bolter as well. He's got the same honour markings on his bolter as he does on his knee pad. So I'll come up with a... It'll probably be yellow like it is on the actual box art. He's got it on his shoulder as well. So what I'm going to do... Yeah, I think it'll be a yellow stripe with the white blood drop in the corner. And that's the Agrax done on him. Let's do his backpack. I've only got about 10 minutes or so, so just do the recess shading on his backpack. So it actually do me good getting out of the house at the weekend. With me not working, I've found I'm actually in the house a lot. I haven't been sitting here doing nothing. I've been painting, I've been doing stuff for my parents. I was wrapping Christmas presents for them the other day. I just haven't got time. They're up seeing my nan a lot. So yeah, I'm enjoying being off work purely because I don't have to go to work, and I know I will get bored of this in time, but for now I'm okay. And I know the thing that will hit me the most is the fact I won't be able to go out and buy what I want when I want. But a lot of people in that situation, and I'm careful enough with my money that I can do that. It's fine. I started looking online for the training courses for what's it called? Import clerk. It's kind of, I think, the idea I want to go down. I've got enough experience in import export as it is, and I don't want to be in a warehouse anymore. Just so sick of being in a warehouse. And I understand freight enough so that I think I could do an import-export clerk. Fair enough, I know it's a lot of computer work and I need training and stuff like that. That's fine. And I'm perfectly willing to get stuck in and get it done. So I started looking into that a little bit. I don't think it's a common thing, people going from warehouse to office, but it's going to be what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to be... I said to my parents the other day, it's one thing I'm not going to miss is this winter not having to be out in that warehouse. Like last winter, it was really cold, and you've got to bear in mind when you're in a warehouse, you're driving forklifts, you haven't got a heater. Most of the time you can't wear gloves because you're having to write, and there's only so many layers you can actually wear. So it's not comfortable. Fair enough, I was at the stage where I just got on with it and grin and bear it and all that crap, but no, I don't have to do that anymore. So I'm not going to. Fair enough, I know that down the line, if I don't get work, I'll have to go back to warehousing at some point, but if I can help it, I'm not going to. There's a guy I used to work with who was constantly saying, but it means with the industry that we're in, because we import so much stuff into the country, we'll always have jobs. Which is true, but it's not always the best thing to always have a job. So you get complacent, like they did. I don't think I got complacent. I just got sick of doing what I was doing. So and I'm thinking, well, over the next couple of months, if I, say for example, if I decide to go back to work after March, go back to work in the, like start looking again for work in March, I've got enough money to see me through those couple of months, easily enough money, and yeah, I think I'll be fine. I have to have words to friends and stuff, see if they've got work, they need staff and that. Even considering taking on a few commission jobs again for painting, but I don't know about that. I suppose with the time I've got on my hands, I could do commission painting for a little while. Wouldn't be a problem. Not like it has been before, where it's taken me forever to get one thing done. But I know if I put my mind to it, I can get painting done fairly quick. So I may open the gates up to commission painting again, just to tide me over a little bit, pay some bills and stuff while I'm out of work. No idea how to price it though, that's the thing. I don't know how much to charge people, basically. I've never been, I mean, I know I've done commission painting before, but it's never been a set price. I mean, one of them was done as a gift for someone who isn't able to come to the club very often anymore. Another one was done for a couple of bottles of cider. Obviously different. I was in a different situation then. I could afford to paint other people's stuff and not let it bother me, but now I'd have to charge people, I suppose. But I don't know what. Obviously it would depend on how my painting is as well. I think my painting's reasonable. It's not award-winning standard, but I think it's okay. So I don't know. If anyone's got any ideas, feel free to drop me a message or to comment in the comment section below. How would I price up commission painting? I know there's a few people connected to the club who do commission painting, so I could actually talk to them a little bit, but like, they are much better painters than me and they're a lot quicker, so yeah, we'll see. So I'm near enough at the end of my video for today, I think. I know it hasn't been particularly me talking a lot of ranting and raving about like I normally do about certain things, but things are just kind of chilled out a bit now with life and stuff, so yeah, it's going to be like that for a little while, I think. While I've got no work, I haven't got things to rant and rave about. I'm chilled out, I'm relaxing. So thank you very much if you've sat and painted along and listened to me. Like I said, I'm going to try and do some live streaming. I'll try and figure that out in the next few weeks or so. But thank you very much for listening to me and my normal ramble. I will catch you all soon. Goodbye. Hi everyone, it's BigFriendlyWarGamer here again. It is December the 12th, so it's actually Wednesday I'm doing this, not Tuesday. So we've got less than 2 weeks till Christmas. I'm going to sit here and do my normal painting for the... I've actually done some painting this week. I did a lot of painting yesterday. I did some painting Monday because we didn't have a gaming club. So yeah, all good. What we have on the desk today is I've got 5 more Blood Angels, because these guys up here, when the models I finished, my desk company, they're all done now. They're going to go back in the case ready for next week. I've got 5 Devastator Marines, Blood Angels. I've got a Blood Angel Sergeant, who's actually a captain model, but I'm going to make him a sergeant. So we've got 2 Chaos Warriors from Hero Quest, and the original Slambo model, which is, if you look how closely he looks to that guy there and that guy, I'm going to use them as Chaos Warriors for Hero Quest. So we've got 3 mummies from Hero Quest, 3 zombies from Hero Quest, and bolters backpacks for the Blood Angels. So we've not got a hell of a lot on the desk. Got the normal Warlord Titan, which is there, the Knights, which are still there, but they're purely out because I've got no cases to put them into, and it's going to have to be something I'm going to have to sort out, because having them on my desk is kind of getting on my nerves. So yeah, we're going to sort that out soon. So they're done. I've got this on my desk to concentrate on, and the rest is, I've got bits and pieces down here, but don't need to worry about that for now. What we're going to be working on today is these Blood Angels. And specifically, I want to see how much of this guy I can get done, because I've got a game arranged on Monday, and he's the last model that I need to have a fully finished painted army. Now, he's a replacement model for another model that I've done. Excuse me while I put paints away while I'm talking. Basically, the captain for my first squad, he's a metal model. I painted him years ago, and basically this one here, the old metal captains gained a bit of a reputation. He's got named as the Sarge, or Sergeant Webb. Some of them are called after a friend of mine who he actually looks quite a lot like. Yeah, basically he's been demoted to the 4th squad rather than the 1st squad, because this one here specifically has the right markings on his knee to be 1st squad sergeant. So I'm going to get him painted up. He's sprayed red already. His backpack is there. It'll also get that banner pole to go with it, because I personalise all the backpacks, the banner poles and stuff. And in between I might be jumping on and painting some more of these Hero Quest models, but who knows. So what we're going to do, he's sprayed red already. I'm going to sort of sit here and talk for about an hour like I normally do while I paint. So let's start with Mephiston red, and because even though he's sprayed red, the Mephiston red in a pot is a slightly different colour, so I like to go over them with a thin coat of Mephiston red once they've spray painted. Doesn't need, and that should do quite nicely. Now, as part of the, I think last week the video may be split up into bits and pieces because I'm waiting on phone calls from family and stuff about my nan. Today's a big meeting day. They wanted my parents up there and my aunt, so I'm at home painting, trying to just keep myself busy. We'll probably be building some models later, because I don't think I'll be playing World of Warcraft much more. So all painting, all modelling. Yeah, here we go. Right, so just going to give this an all over coat of Mephiston red. It's quite thin, so it'll fall into the recesses fairly easily. This model is a model, a limited edition model from Games Day a couple of years ago. Now Games Workshop doesn't do Games Day anymore, but this model is it's got a bit of nostalgia for me, because it's the replication of the model, the picture of the model who's standing on the 2nd edition box set cover. Now, when I first got into 40k, properly got into it, I mean, I played Space Crusade, which kind of is 40k but not really. It's in the same setting. When I first got into 40k, it was 2nd edition, and this guy was on the box for 2nd edition. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. And basically, they recreated that model for Games Day one year, and I couldn't get there. I was busy with work, but a friend of mine bought it and never done anything with it, so he sold it to me a little while ago, and now I've decided to actually get on and paint it. So here he is. So I normally talk a bit about how my week's been going in my video, and to be honest, with how things are at the moment, with me not working through choice, with my nan being ill, one day kind of blends into the next. So it's been a really quiet week. We had no club this week either, because it had been double booked. That's fine. So we got next week at the club, and then we stopped for 2 weeks because of Christmas and stuff. So I'm running a little bit of a different game on Monday, running Triumph and Treachery 30k. Now I've done this before, and everyone loves it, so I thought I'd do it again. Only 3 of us seem to be interested in it, which I'm not okay, but that's fine. So it's going to be 3 of us, 2,000 point armies each. And basically with the Triumph and Treachery cards, you basically make alliances and you stab other people in the back. In game, obviously, not in real life, but you know, it should be a laugh. We will see. And I'm playing a game of 40k earlier on, so I'm teaching a guy how to play 40k again. I'm really hoping that in the next couple of months my interest in 40k is going to pick up, because we're going to be running a campaign at the club which is based on the new campaign book which has just come out, Vigilus Defiant I believe it's called. Just as a way to spice up 40k a little bit. It's become a bit, I don't want to say tedious, but it's become a bit samey. So doing something a little bit different might help me in my interest a little bit. I hope it will, because I'm way too invested into 40k to drop it totally. So yeah. So that's the sergeant with his new base coat. Now, because I'm going to try my best to see how much of this I can get done in one day. In fact, let's do his backpack as well, because I've got the paint out, might as well. If possible, I want to try and get this model finished today. I won't have the distraction of Warcraft, because Blizzard seems to have released a patch which has screwed up my laptop's ability to actually play the game. Basically everything is glitching now. It's quite unplayable, so I tried it earlier on. I lowered the graphics settings and it's like literally some of the NPC characters are blacked out. Some are like multicoloured dots. And I'm like, well, you've broke the game, so unless they release another patch to fix that in the next couple of days, I'll probably be deleting my subscription. There's no point having a subscription to a game I can't play. So yeah, you never know, it'll help my painting. I'll get more painting done. I just figured while I'm here, I might as well do the base coats on these backpacks as well. These are the backpacks for the Devastator Marines. People have asked me before why I take 10-man Devastator squads. Because only 5 of them can carry heavy weapons. So you've got 5 bolter guys. And that's it. They don't have anything else but bolters. Now my argument is because in the fluff they're 10-man squads. So I take 10-man squads. Also, I like the redundancy, because if you have a 5-man Devastator squad that gets shot at and loses 3 guys, you lose 3 heavy weapons, or a sergeant, you know what I mean. If you take a couple of bolter guys, they can take the wounds instead. They're basically ablative wounds for your heavy weapons, which I quite like. And like I said, Devastator squads are supposed to be 10-man squads, so I know in the old in Horus Heresy, so in like 30k, they were called heavy support squads then, and they did have each squad was 10 heavy weapons, including the sergeant used to carry a heavy weapon as well. So it'd be nice for Space Marines to get that, but I don't think they're ever going to go that far. They've done it somewhat with the Hellblasters, so you can have a full plasma squad. But you know, it'd be nice to have that, to have a heavy support squad where you don't have to worry about should I bother moving these guys up or all that, because they're all equipped the same way. You can fire at multiple targets using the same weapon profile and stuff, but I can't see that. Can't see it going that way. Right, so that's the backpacks all base coated. So I can go back to that sergeant now. clean my palette as always, because I like a clean palette, even though it's this palette's getting a bit old now. It's I think they stopped making these like 15 years ago. Suits me fine though, I like it. Right, so let's see how dry this is. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Right, so we've got Agrax Earthshade for the recesses. Now I like this way of doing my Blood Angels now. It's a lot quicker than my old method, because my old method used old paints and they took forever. So, and generally speaking, I had to do 2 layers of everything. So what we're going to do is get my detail brush, and now basically I should have rinsed that first. Basically what you want to do with this recess shading is into all the, like it says, all the recesses you want to drop some of this Agrax Earthshade. So around his boots. This will provide the shading for the detailing. He's it's a bit weird compared to Space Marines. He's got some weird bits on his armour, but that's okay. It's fine. In fact, I'm actually doing this wrong. I've already made a mess, so I should be going over it with Evil Sunz Scarlet first. See, my head's not in the game. Like I said, I've got things in my mind. But what I'm going to do is just leave that Agrax Earthshade to dry a little bit. Dry fully, sorry. And yeah, reapply Mephiston Red. Well, that was a bit of a full start. So, right. Head in the game. Right. Sit them up there. Sergeant can go there, and let's do the base coat on these Devastators. So this is going to be exactly the same that I've just done with the Sergeant. It's going to be a thin Mephiston Red layer, and it's going to be all over, just to bring it to the colour that I want to start at and not put Agrax Earthshade on. It's okay, mistakes happen. I could go back and strip the model, but there's not going to be any need to. Shading is quite a thin coat anyway, so a mistake's not a problem. There's always ways, especially if you're thinning your paints. So let's put them the right way around. If you're thinning your paints, I should actually get Bloodletter out as well. That's my colours to actually paint Blood Angels now. Right, so we're going to start with the Marine on the left. So he's Beaky Marine number 1. So yeah, if you make a mistake when you're painting miniatures, right, don't worry yourself too much. It happens to everyone. I mean, my World Eater Terminator Sergeant, if you look closely on him, the gold on his shoulder pads is slightly different colour to the rest of the gold on him. Basically, I forgot to put a layer on it of gold on his shoulder pads, but I know it's there because I painted it. You have to get quite up close and inspect the model to actually notice, and even then it still is perfectly fine, so I don't worry about it too much. Now this guy, I'm not going to paint his helmet red because Blood Angel Devastators have blue helmets, so what I'm going to do is paint up to his helmet and just leave it. So I'll go back, I'll paint the blue later, once the reds are. Basically when I paint Blood Angels, I start with their red armour, because it's the main part of the model, so it's the easiest bit to do. Not the easiest bit, it's the bit that you want to get done first, because it's the majority of the model. Now this guy actually missed quite a lot of his underarm with the spray paint, but that's okay, because that's what this does, it brings it all to the same colour. So yeah, so not having a club for this week and then 2 weeks after next week is going to be a bit, it's going to suck a little bit, but it is what it is. It means I can get a fair bit of painting done. The 5 Death Company, I know there's 6 up there, but I finished 5 of them last night or yesterday. It put me to 226 for the year, so another 24 and I would hit 250. I don't think I'm going to do 24. There's things happening that it's going to take my time, but it's fine. I would like to hit 250, that would be awesome, because that would mean I've painted over 20 models per month, even though I haven't. Some months I painted a lot more than others, but I will see. I hit my target, I'm more than happy with that. Other targets I've kind of given up on now. The 3 super heavy models I'm not going to do, basically because I was enjoying painting my Lord of Skulls, and then I found I was starting to rush him, because I thought, well, I want to get him finished, and I was making mistakes on him, so I figured, well, I'm not in a rush to paint these things. These were additional things I would like to do rather than actual targets. So I put him back in his case, and I said to myself, well, I'll get him finished next year. So I'm not going to get him finished this year. I don't think I will anyway. There may be a point I'll decide to go back to him if I'm a bit bored of painting Blood Angels, which is perfectly within the bounds of happening. It's happened before, it will happen again, me getting bored of painting Blood Angels. I mean, I've got 200 odd of them to paint, so it probably will happen at some point. And I did want to get onto painting the Blackstone Fortress stuff, but until, it's the same with the Titanicus models, it's what's putting me off building the rest of my Titans, is I've got nowhere to put them. I've got no foam cases which will hold them, so if I paint them all up, they'll be sitting on my desk and they'll just start collecting dust in. So I'm going to hold off for a little while. Hopefully they will release some like Battle Foam or KR or a few of the other companies. They do foam cases specifically for box games or certain models and stuff. So I could just buy a set of pluck foam and make some trays for my models out of them, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm watching my money as well. I'm not going out spending money left, right and centre when I know I shouldn't be, because I'm not working. In fact, so much so that to get the expansion book for 40k, the campaign book, and chapter approved, which is the update for the game, the core rules. I've dug through my money pot and got 50 quid in coins out. Now, I know the manager of my local games workshop is a friend of mine. I don't think he's going to watch this. It's pound coins and 50p's, so it's not that bad. But it's probably what I'm going to get at the weekend. I'm taking my nephew up to Games Workshop to sit and paint in the store for a little while. I haven't done it for a while. I was too busy and there's been other things on. But my sister's going up to see my nan, so I figured I'd volunteer to take my nephew for a little while. And then I'm seeing my nephews next week as well, on the Friday, because they break up from school and my sister can't get a day off, so me and my mum looking after him. So I mean, me looking after him, playing Call of Duty probably, but that's okay. So this is guy number 4. What I'll do is once I've done this layer on all 5, the Agrax Earthshade should be dry enough so I can repaint over on the Sergeant. It's a case of leaving them to dry. And what I'll probably do is I'll just turn the camera off for a few minutes while the Mephiston Red dries. Check my phone, check my iPad, and see if there's been any updates on my nan. So I was watching, trying to catch up on some of the YouTubers that I haven't been really up to date with in the past few months because of work and stuff, but I was catching up on some the past week while I've been painting. Watching Mini Wargamer J, who former staff member of Mini Wargaming. Watching Way of the Brush, who's Chris, and he actually, the one from a couple of weeks ago, he actually showed, I posted up a picture on Instagram, YouTube and stuff about how many models that I've painted since I started doing these videos, and I sent it to him as well, and I got some good reaction from it, so I'm very happy about that. So yeah, it's I'm slowly getting there. I find I'm not watching very many battle reports, just because of most of the battle reports that I see online are 40k, and like I said, my interest for 40k isn't at its peak at the moment. Kind of, I wouldn't say I'm fed up with it, just it's not piquing my interest, so I'm not watching 40k battle reports. I started to watch one the other day and it's just, I don't know, there's something about the rules that just don't click, don't seem right to me. Fluff wise, I can understand why a strength 3 weapon could damage a tank and stuff like that, but tactics wise, it used to be a valid tactic to hide your guys behind your vehicles because small arms fire couldn't hurt the vehicles, so it was a valid tactic. And now it just doesn't matter because your strength 3 guys can damage vehicles which were armor 14 before, and it's just it feels like a lot of the tactics side of it has gone out of 40k. And I get it, I get why they've done it, but they've maybe done it a little bit too much. But I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna start hating on 40k, because 40k is the game that got me into this, more or less. Okay, there was Space Crusade and Hero Quest and stuff like that, but 40k's my game. This army that I'm painting right now, the Blood Angels, is for 40k. It's an army I've been collecting for a long time, and it will be an army I'll probably never ever actually get finished, but I can try. Right, so that's everything base coated now. What I'm going to do is just clean my palette and take a quick break. Like I said, I'm going to check my phone and stuff. I will be back in about 5, which will be right in a second to you guys.